It's a remarkable, historic, transformative piece of legislation which goes a very long way to crushing the virus.
House Democrats say they are confident they have the votes for final passage of President Biden's COVID relief deal. Good evening, I'm Russ Bowen.
And I'm Angela Taylor. That final vote is now set for tomorrow morning. And even though the bill hasn't even passed yet, the stimulus checks included in it have been causing quite a buzz. Our consumer investigator, Steve Sbragia, joins us live from the newsroom. Steve, sorry.
That's all right. The passage of the bill has been anxiously awaited by millions of Americans who have been economically impacted by the pandemic. And though this is by far the largest stimulus payment to date, lawmakers have narrowed the guidelines for those who are eligible. Is that much needed money?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if not for me, for the communities that have really been impacted.
The money for the stimulus payments comes out of a larger bill known as the American Rescue Act, a $2 trillion measure, including $1,400 checks for those who don't go over annual income guidelines.
How would you spend that money?
Probably pay off some of the debt that I've accrued waiting for the bill to pass.
Here's who's eligible. If a single person makes $75,000 a year or less, they'll get a full check for $1,400. If you make up to $80,000 a year, your payment will be reduced. Over $80,000, no check for you. Married couples with incomes totaling $150,000 will get $2,800 per couple and $1,400 for each eligible dependent child. For joint incomes higher than that, the checks will gradually be reduced, with nobody making more than $160,000 getting a check. The American Rescue Act also contains money for everything from airlines to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
I know there's a lot of pork barrel stuff on there, so that's my concern is, you know, we're giving a lot of that money to the other country, to the politicians. That's concerning.
Other provisions of the bill include the expansion of the child care tax credit for a year, up to $3,600 per child, and $34 billion going to expand the Obamacare subsidies, meaning more people will be able to buy health care on the exchanges and others will have lower insurance premiums. But for some, like this senior who owes the IRS, the money going to her will go right back to the government.
And instead of being able to use that money to actually be able to purchase something, I'm going to have to use that money to try to pay this debt off.
Now, the president's goal is to have those stimulus funds in the hands of those who need them by the end of the month, but the exact distribution timetable still remains unclear. Working for you, I'm consumer investigator Steve Sbragia.